Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope that you guys can hear me, and I know I said we were starting it too. So, hey. Hey, guys, how you doing? I'm doing good. Now, there's something I've noticed, and it's that men are toxic. It's a bit weird. So, I want to talk about why. And I think we can, because I trust you guys to be as mature about this subject as possible. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna check, see how many people we have watching right now. Okay. We have a few people. It's okay. Alright. Now, let me think here. What are some typical traits everybody associates with being masculine? Because masculinity in itself isn't toxic, right? We all know that. Clear? Alright, let's see. What is some typical traits? You guys go for it. I would say probably strength would probably be one, you know? I'd probably say something like chivalry would be another. We would say you probably have to be pretty tall. You definitely have to be straight. To be a man, you just can't be gay. Like, you just can't. In the traditional masculine sense, it is not cool. I think bravery falls under chivalry, Melanie. So, there's that. But what else would everybody say? Because I think, yeah, no, you can't show your emotions. You can't show your emotions. You have to be self-sufficient, I'd say. You have to be, like, well, we already have strong down. We have tall, straight, can't show emotions, self-sufficient. What else do you guys think would be up there? I'm gonna check the live chat when I first asked for you guys to do that. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. You shouldn't care about women much, I guess. You are meant to be a breadwinner, which I would say falls under self-sufficient, but I think we can just work off of these, okay? And if anybody thinks of any others, yeah. Care is weak. And if anybody thinks of any others, we can talk about that. But actually, you know what? I'm gonna delete these two, because these two fall under something. And here's why. Okay. Now, are any of these traits right here technically bad? Are any of these bad technically? No, it's probably good to be strong. It's probably good to be chivalrous. It's probably, it's probably good to be tall. Being straight, it's a life choice you're making, but I guess. Not being able to show emotions in public, well, self-disturbing in public is probably not a good idea. And being self-sufficient, that's always good. But, see, it's this little word right here that we get fixated on. Because if you have strength, what does that mean? Well, what if you push yourself too far in a gym? And if you don't meet this standard, what happens there? If you're chivalrous, what does that mean? Well, that implicitly says that women are delicate. And so what does that mean? Well, it means they have to be protected. That's probably not good. That probably isn't great. Being tall, well, that's not inherently bad, but what if you're short? What does that mean? Has anybody been to the short subreddit? It's a toxic place. It really is. And it's not good. If you're straight, what does this mean? Well, this one's actually pretty interesting. See, if it's a symbol of masculinity, you have to be straight, then that means anything that could be perceived as gay is acceptable. So we'll get back to this one in a second. Can't show emotions in public. Well, this leads to you can't show them or ever. And so what does that mean? Well, it means you have a lot of pent-up insecurities. That's not good. And to be self-sufficient, what does that mean? It means never relying on anybody. And so this is taking on too many burdens. So, my friends, inherently, are any of the initial traits that we listed here, strength, chivalry, being tall, being straight, not showing emotion too much in public, or being self-sufficient, are any of them bad on their own? I would say no. But what if you're short? What if you push yourself too far? What if you think women are delicate and that means they must be protected, but since you don't need to be protected, what if you don't think of them as equals? And if you're short, what do you think happens to you in society if you're a short man? There are some people who put in their Tinder bios literally, if you aren't, you need to be this X tall to date me. It's kind of like you're at a fair and you have a ride sign that says you need to be this tall to ride. That's not good. And anything that can be perceived as gay is unacceptable. So what would that mean? Well, that would mean that if you slept with somebody and you're straight, right, but then you realize that the person you just slept with is a trans woman, and you don't know much about sort of gender theory, well, now, that's not good. You could react badly. And you could have the trans panic defense. That's not good. So that's what we mean by toxic masculinity. As we all know. Yeah, strength. You could push yourself too far when you're doing it. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. I don't know. Showing no emotions, that's not good. You need to handle your emotions, you need to understand them, and you need to work with them. And if you don't do that, well, what does that do to somebody? It's not good. It kind of ties into the self-sufficient bit there, taking on too many burdens. It means that you never share the fundamental human condition with anybody else. Now, these are all things that it's taught that people have to be. And listen, we could do this for the women. We could take all of the women traits and we could go, here's a bunch of other things, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to. I'm talking about guys right now. Okay? We're talking about the dudes. Women, I'm sorry, this is not about you. So, all of these things we have are ideas of what it means to be. I'll put down physically strong if you guys are that, The physically strong was actually a good point, because here's the thing. If you aren't physically strong, you get maligned. You're seen as less of a man. So that, again, masculinity. Sorry, Melanie, everything is not about you. I apologize. So what can we do about any of this? Well, there are ways that you can positively project all of these things. Right? But the problem is that for years, women have been pushed by society to be something new. But men haven't. Women have been told it's cool to be androgynous with gender expression or whatever. That's great. And their gender roles, whatever. That's great. Men haven't been told that. So what do? Well, we do this. You turn trans. I'm kidding. You don't do that. We don't do that. What we do is we say, okay. Yeah, exactly. Number 5 is bad because you're holding in emotions that need to be let out. Here's what we do. We figure out how to make these traits good things. Okay? These are toxic masculinity. That's great. Here's what I want to see. Okay? I want to see I want to see this. Okay? And I think, for the most part, all of you guys do too. Right? I think for almost everybody, this is true, yeah? So, what can we do about that? Well, we could say, okay, what does it mean to be strong in a good way? The Greeks had a tradition of you were strong if you... Hold on one second, guys. If you were able to cry in front of others, right? So what does strength mean in itself? It means strength isn't bad. It can be good. Being strong just means you have what it takes to get what you need to do done. So, being capable of things. And just being competent. I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody, but I'm having a good time. Right? So that's a good thing. What about chivalry? I don't like traditional chivalry. I think just treat people like people. Women aren't a special, sort of other thing. We need to work on that, right? And I would say that being tall, it's fine if you are, but all men are kings, no matter their height. Short men, tall men, doesn't matter. Okay? Let's see, can I actually just do that? There we go. All men are kings. It's important. We need to remember that. Now, straight, you don't choose. So, I don't know. I don't know. Being straight, that's not something you can really choose. But to be straight, but be comfortable with your sexuality is important. And this ties into what you're saying there, Melanie, because if men want to be queens, like, drag queens and whatever, that would have to do with being comfortable with your sexuality. It doesn't make you less of a man to want to dress up. Okay? Showing emotions is a good thing. But controlling emotions is better. Right? So if you're feeling deeply angry, you don't then have clearance to just go off on someone. That's better. Being self-sufficient is good, but being realistically self-sufficient is better. Because if you aren't, then what do? I don't know. You probably go down a hole. It's probably not good. And to be physically strong. Well, how about this? How about we just say, take care of your body. In general. Be able to go and do skincare. Be able to go and work out just for a bit. Make sure you go outside. Take a walk. see people if you can. If it's not safe for you to do that, then don't. Maybe just like talk to people. Anyways, but all of these things are things that are good. Now, hold on 1 second here. I think these things are universally good. And so I don't think masculinity really applies here. I think this is just being a human. This is how you be a good human. I have never understood why there is a divide in what you are supposed to do based on your gender. These are positive traits that anybody can have. Okay? These are good things for everybody. And we could add more, like being secure in your sexuality just in general. And we could add in doing what makes you feel happiest while also being able to help others. We can add in being charitable, being kind, all of these different things. But fundamentally, this right here isn't as important. And there are ways to express what is traditionally masculine in helpful ways that aren't toxic. So, being traditionally masculine, like this, being the strong man who never talks to anybody about his feelings and just bottles it all up, that's bad. But being helpful and being kind and being a good person applies universally. And if you want to be beefy and macho and whatever, totally fine. But it doesn't matter what your gender is for you to want to do that. I think that's all I had to say on toxic masculinity, actually. How's everybody doing? How's the stream going? Is everybody enjoying it? I'm sorry that was really short. But with that in mind, I think the best thing we could do right now is to affirm that I am such an alpha male that I am going to go and dunk on Ben Shapiro today. What do you guys think? Are we dunking on Ben Shapiro today or not? I'm just waiting for you guys to go ahead and say yes. Alright, let's go and dunk on some Ben Shapiro, because, oh boy, you guys listen to me rant about toxic masculinity for a bit, and y'all deserve it. So, let's do it. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna take a second, and we'll be right back. Now, I'm looking at this, and none of this is good. And I don't want to see any of it. But, we're still here. So we have to. Okay? Alright. Let's see here. As an atheist and as a leftist, I need to know what the hell he's talking about. Everyone, get ready to listen to a very annoying voice. And let's see here. Okay, everyone get ready. We're gonna watch this, and we're gonna just... hopefully not die from just secondhand radiation. Or cancer, possibly.
So in the aftermath...
No, you don't get to talk right now, Ben. I'm going to turn you down because you're way too freaking loud.
...of this particular shooting in Colorado. And remember, this comes in the aftermath of this awful shooting in Atlanta, where a white guy shot 8 people, including 6 Asian Americans, and the media immediately, without any evidence, declared this as evidence of broader Trumpian white supremacy.
Well, yeah. Because it... I just want to be clear here. Ben Shapiro, my stupid friend, yeah, no, so when we see an uptick in Asian American hate crimes against Asian Americans, and Trump comes up saying, oh, it's the China virus, and that trend continues, and, you know, it shows up and everything, yeah, we're going to say it's probably evidence of that. But also, you can make an inductive case for that. But we're going to just focus on what the hell he's saying right now.
Again, evidence that this is a hate crime, still complete.
Do I need something like this? Do I need this, like, a little subscribe thing? Or is this tacky? Sound off.
Completely absent in that particular case. Maybe it'll be found. Haven't been found yet. You'd figure you probably have found it by now if you were looking for it. But the media immediately jumped to the conclusion.
Is he drunk? Is it just me? Or is he drunk?
After the Colorado shooting, the identity of the shooter was not immediately released to the media. Now, there's a pattern in the media. And the pattern in the media tends to be that when the shooter is white, this is why conservatives held off on this. When the shooter is white, the identity is immediately released to the media, generally. Almost immediately, like within a couple of hours. Because once the guy's in custody, you got the guy in custody. So then it's just a question of when the police decide to reveal the identity of the person in custody. When the person is non-white, not only will the police wait on actually breaking the news, the media will then downplay exactly the race or ethnicity of the person.
Citation needed. Like, what is he talking about? I'm sorry, I need to see proof of this, Ben. Where are your sources? Oh. Not seeing those sources, Ben. Sorry.
Because again, all of this plays into broader narratives about what the...
Oh, he does, and he is a child.
...country should do, not with regard to things like immigration or things like race, God forbid, but what the country should do with regard to things like more policing, what sort of measures should be taken. Okay, but for the left, because every problem in America can be attributed to quote-unquote white supremacy and whiteness,
yes,
they immediately jumped into the story and got the story completely wrong. You have to understand that for the left right now, whiteness is what atheists say about religious people. They call it the God of the gaps. So atheists will frequently say about...
Okay, we're going to get into this because, yes, most of the time people advocate for a God of the gaps, and it's super fucking annoying. But I just want to see what he's going to say. The God of the gaps argument is typically phrased like this. Oh, so, you don't believe in God? Well, how did the universe start, libtard? I don't know. Well, I do. It was God. How does that explain anything? That's my serious question. How does that explain anything? The answer, it doesn't. You're just saying somebody else did it. I could also say that it was a universe-farting pixie. But I don't have any proof of that. So, yeah, basically, the God of the gaps argument is we have a gap in knowledge, and people say, oh, it was this. So, yeah.
Religious people. That religious people can't prove God. They can't prove that God exists.
True.
So what they'll do is they'll look at the universe, and then if there's something unexplained, they'll say, God. Right? So quantum mechanics happens, and it completely throws off some Einsteinian...
Ben, this is your show. Did your editor leave this in? Oof.
Theories about how the universe works, and religious believers will go, God. And atheists will say, no, that's not God. You just don't understand how that works. And God doesn't necessarily fill in that gap, right? That's the God of the gaps.
Correct. I'm surprised he understands this. Also, what a beautiful face to freeze on. So beautiful. Can I just... Really quickly, I just need that in my life.
Okay, well, for the left, they have whiteness and white supremacy of the gaps. If there is a story they don't like, they just explain it with regard to whiteness.
No. Okay. Guys, do I need to pull up the actual definition of whiteness? Again. It is a systemic issue that has to do with the amount of privilege you hold, and whiteness is described as the act of ignoring and distributing privilege. It's tough. Anyways.
We saw this.
Oh, yeah, I like agnosticism too. That's why I'm an agnostic atheist.
With regard to discrimination against Asian Americans. Right? If black Americans are beating up Asian Americans in disproportionate numbers, that is because of white supremacy and America's systems of power.
Yes, it is, because guess what? Guess what? If you, as a racial group, or if you're part of a racial group that is called the model minority so frequently, because you are held up as this paragon of, well, why didn't the blacks figure it out? The Asians did, and look at them, they're doing fantastic. If you're held up as that model minority, and you're used to further, the idea of your race is used to further the oppression of another race, by white people. Tell me, does that sound like white supremacy caused that antagonism, or...
If Asian Americans are succeeding too well in the system, that's because Asian Americans are buying into systems of white supremacy.
Not necessarily, but sometimes.
And if white people are targeting Asian Americans, that's also because of white supremacy.
Absolutely, yes.
So no matter what, the grand unifying field theory of American politics for the left is white supremacy.
No, it's actually class antagonism. But good try, Ben. Good try.
So they tried to apply this without evidence to the Colorado shooting. This was their immediate jump. They immediately jumped into this was a white guy because there was a picture released and the guy looked white. Well, it turns out the guy's not white. The guy's actually Syrian.
Ben. Okay, I'm sorry. Everybody here, I think we need just really quick. Okay, everybody here, see this here? This is the topic of what we're talking about. We're no longer talking about Ben. Does everyone know what the difference between race and ethnicity is? Because if you don't, I'm going to clarify for you. Well, we could be saying that, actually, but, alright. Race is baseline what you phenotypically look like. I am white, right? That's my race, okay? Ethnicity is where you are from geologically and culturally. It has to do with your heritage culturally and geologically, right? So I am also German. That's my ethnicity. I am not white by ethnicity. We all good? Okay. And Ben, for example, as a Jewish person, this is just for you guys who think the JQ is a thing, Ben, as a Jewish person, is white. But he could be ethnically Jewish. I don't know.
Okay, and it turns out that mass shooters are not always white. In fact, according to Statista, of the 120 or so mass shootings in the United States between 1982 and March 2021, about half of them are done by white people. But the other half are not done by white people.
Who are they done by?
Which is roughly the racial distribution of the United States generally. And so that myth is just not true in the first place. That
Hold on. First of all, can we just focus in on this mug right here? Does everyone see what I'm seeing? It says leftist tears. Well, that's not great. I'm sure he does. Okay, let's figure this out right here. Let's see, what am I going to do? What am I going to look up? Oh, yeah. Shootings by race. Let's do it. Here we are. Okay. Alright. So here's white. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing here? Because what I'm seeing is a massive disproportionate amount of white people shootings. What if we adjust for per capita, though? Then I think it would be about even. But here's the thing, though. If we look at... Let's look at 2019, shall we? Actually, we can do this one. This will work, too. This is the police violence one. God, my computer's really slow. Huh. Well, now, what are we seeing here? No, don't send me notifications. Black people? That's about half of the white people, right? Weird. But hold on. As they like to constantly respond to us with the, 1350 stat, we know that black people are 13% of the population. And white people make up way more. So why the disproportionate amount of shootings? I don't know. Maybe it's because of white supremacy. I don't know. Moving on. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit slow today.
All mass shooters are white. Okay, that is something that is promulgated by the media because the media wishes to...
Ben, you have an editor and you still mispronounce things.
You suggest that white people with guns present the true threat to the United States.
Yep.
And blue check marks jumped into this immediately.
Blue check marks.
Right? They started jumping into this like right away.
Okay, Ben is talking way too slowly for me. I need him to sped up because, oh my god, I can't.
Tweeting out over and over and over that the shooter was white, and this just demonstrates that America's a white supremacist country, and also because...
Well, no, it might not necessarily demonstrate that, but, like, America still is, though.
The police arrested this guy after wounding him, as opposed to just shooting him dead. That's because they liked him. The police were racist. It doesn't matter that the cop was actually shot to death by the guy. The police were racist because they liked the white guy, but they never take the black guy alive, which is just a lie. It is just overtly untrue. Okay? But, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but you claimed that every single black person that the police arrest actually gets shot, but that's clearly not true, liberal. As we see on the September 1st of 1928, a one Tyrone was... I'm sorry. Oh, God. This is coming from the dude who... I don't know if you guys have ever read Ben Shapiro's book, but Ben Shapiro wrote one of the most racist things I've ever read in my life. It's horrible, and honestly, if I can get hold of it, we're going to read it on stream because it's bad. No, I didn't have to take helium, but I honestly, might have to.
You have some commentators, some blue check, Julie DeCaro, who wrote, extremely tired of people's lives depending on whether a white man with an AR-15 is having a good day or not.
Yeah, I don't care about this.
Right?
Your life shouldn't rely on that. Yeah. This is true.
We have Alex Cole tweeting out.
Yeah, no, it's lucky you haven't, because, oh my god, it's bad.
A white man walked into a grocery store in Boulder. Not true. Killed 10 people and was apprehended by the police and walked out of the building completely unharmed. Right down the street, police killed Elijah McClain while he apologized for not doing anything wrong.
So, sorry guys, I just had to cough. Straight up, let's be clear about this. There is a phrase in the trans community called passing. I think you've all heard of it, right? So, I pass as a man if I, were to drop my voice a bit deeper, and I generally do when I'm out in public, but right now, my throat's actually kind of sore, so I'm not doing it. Either way, actually, no, now I've slipped back down into it, so we're gonna drop my voice, actually. Either way, point being, basically, that if you pass as white, no matter what your racial heritage is, gonna say that's a race thing, not ethnicity. So somebody might be from Saudi Arabia or whatever. I don't care. And they might be fully Arab or whatever. Like, for example, they could be an Ashkenazi Jewish person. But they pass as white. And that's what matters, because it's race, not ethnicity, that we care about right now.
Okay, again, untrue. They thought that he was they thought that they had to give him a drug because he was responding in incoherent ways to their commands. It may, in fact, be a homicide case. I believe it's being brought as a homicide case right now. But what these two things have to do with
Okay, he's doing police apologia. That's great.
for his life. How's an unarmed black child more frightening than a grown white male mass murderer? Reckless. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Were you there? Did like what?
Well, I'm sorry, but if you weren't physically actually at the Revolutionary War, how can you say that Britain lost? Clearly, we can't see because you personally weren't there. And how could you ever say that this is what happened?
What? Okay, so this is just the narrative that builds up every time, right? When the shooter in Charleston of the black church, right? The racist terrorist who shot up the black church, when he did that, he was arrested. And the narrative was, look at how the police are treating him so nicely. Well, the police tried to arrest a lot of people without killing them. If the police killed everybody who presented a general threat to the public, there'd be a lot more dead people in the United States.
Yeah, you'd be dead.
Of all races, but that doesn't matter. The narrative has to be promulgated. The narrative is always, again, white supremacy is the answer, even if it's clearly not white supremacy, as we'll see in a second. Michael Harriot of The Root, who's just awful, he tweeted out, pointing out how white suspects get the benefit of the doubt without being stopped, frisked, beaten, shot, or killed is not a call for harsh treatment. It simply means we know cops are capable of treating people humanely, just not us. Y'all could use a few more ass whoopings, though.
Yeah, okay, this last part is a pun. I mean, it's not a pun, but it's obviously hyperbolic. He's kidding. You know? He's basically saying, listen, there are some white people who actually do get off. Like, we have cases where actual rapists have gotten it released from court because they were white and they were men, and oh, think about his future. That's what he's trying to say here. Like, any degree of charitability would afford you saying, like, basically pointing out how white suspects get the benefit of the doubt without being stopped, frisked, beaten, shot, or killed is not a call for harsh treatment, and it simply means we know cops are capable of treating people humanely, just not us. Y'all could use a few more ass whoopings. Yeah, there are some white people who really just completely skirted the system. What he's saying is, black kids never skirt the system. White ones do. And by never, I'm sure there is...
Just a bad person. I'm sorry, just a bad person. First of all, there is tape of white people being beat to death by police officers unjustifiably or shot unjustifiably by the police. In fact, there...
Okay, Ben, stop. No. It's just, okay. He's not a bad person. He's actually a really good person, first of all. Second of all, I would consider you, Ben Shapiro, a bad person. And third of all, there have been tapes of white people being treated badly by the police. Who here, I'm sorry, can I see people say, rise up or something? If you, hold it, don't say it yet, if you have ever seen somebody who says ACAB, but also says, sorry white people, you never experienced this, actually it's just black people. Anybody seen that? Oh, nobody's putting that in chat? Maybe it's because it doesn't happen. When you are focusing on a systemic issue that a certain people face a disproportionate amount of, you focus on that first. It's called harm reduction. Ideally, we want to get rid of police violence in general. Flat out. But it disproportionately happens to a certain group of people. So, we work on that. One step at a time.
There are studies done. It says that actually police tend to disproportionately shoot white suspects in dangerous situations as opposed to black suspects.
See, I would look up counter data, because I could, but oh look, there aren't any sources. So, if we can just say things and have them be true. Ben Shapiro's yarmulke just set on fire, like right now. Yeah.
In situations. And that does not matter, apparently, at all. Not only does that not matter, it does not matter that the suspect in this case was not white. The suspect, Kamala Harris's niece, tweeted out about this and actually had to delete her own tweet about the white shooter. She tweeted out, the Atlanta shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country.
True. That's true, by the way. Per capita. That's true. Wait, hold on. What's going on? Did I say anything bad? Guys, did I say anything not good? Was I wrong about something? Because I don't think I was, but... I don't know. Yeah, so... This is true. In gross numbers, guess who commits the most terror attacks? White supremacists.
Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country.
That's just
and then
true.
She tweeted out, I deleted a previous tweet about the suspect in the Boulder shooting. I made an assumption based on his being taken into custody alive, and the fact that the majority of mass shootings in the United States are carried out by white men.
True.
Okay, so in other words, you made an assumption about some shooting based on general racial statistics?
Yes, that's how assumptions work. I'm sorry, Mother. You said I was supposed to guess what the dice would be. And you know what? When you roll the dice and you said you can guess what number would pop up, and I said 6, I was betting on the fact that there is a 1 in 6 chance that the dice would indeed be a 6 when it finally finished. But you lied to me because it was a 5. What?
Interesting. Interesting you should do that. If you're on the left, you can get away with anything. Anything.
Yeah, you're right. On the right, you can get away with anything. You can get away with gross misinformation spouted by a tiny little gnome.
By the way, solid apology right there.
And just to be clear, all men are kings. Ben Shapiro, I don't think he counts as a man. I think he's a gremlin, possibly. Goblin, maybe. I don't know.
That is not even an apology. That's like, well, I made an assumption. First of all, you know what? The majority of people who live in this country are white, which means that for virtually any stat you can choose, the majority of people who do it are white.
Yes.
Okay,
good job, Ben. I know that took a lot of brain power that you really don't have to spare, but
So, the majority of people who eat hot dogs in the United States are white. So, I saw a guy eating a hot dog. What color was he? Well, he's probably white because, what? What are you even talking about? It's statistical.
He's not big enough to be a troll.
Statistical incompetence. Hey, so as it turns out, all of this immediately fell apart because, unfortunately for the left-wing narrative about how whiteness is the greatest threat to America, this particular gunman happened not to be white. He was a Syrian-born person. And not only that, he ranted about Islamophobes hacking his phone. He was apparently suffering from mental illness. The person's brother told the Daily Beast he was very antisocial and has been paranoid since high school.
Yeah, like a lot of, white supremacists.
The brother described him as mentally ill, said he'd been bullied in school, and it was not politically motivated. His sister-in-law said she'd seen him playing with a gun recently, but did not suspect him of violence. And also, he tweeted out a bunch of stuff that was kind of supportive of ISIS over the past few years.
This is not an ISIS apologia channel, and we will not be doing that here, but, if you are part of the Middle East that the United States is kind of taking over, and they aren't giving you much of a say in it, and then ISIS comes in and they have the same values as you do, and they're fighting against the United States in terms of religion, their beliefs are abhorrent, and I don't support them. I can see why you'd support them. I don't, because I have my outlook on things. But from somebody else's moral compass, I can see how that'd be an easy leap.
He tweeted out about how Trump was terrible.
Yep.
This seems like a mentally ill person. Okay, and he ranted about
What?
Trump. He ranted about refugees. He happens to have been a Muslim, although we don't know that Islam was actually the motivation in the shooting.
But we're going to claim it is because I'm Ben Shapiro.
Looks more like mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but in any case, this does not comport with the fact pattern that the left would like to promulgate.
Ben, the Palestinians just like being in the dirt, and the Israelis are actually, way better. Different cultures actually lead to different outcomes, and Israelis are meant to be, high-fluting people above the rest of the world, and the Palestinians are supposed to live in the dirt. Ben Shapiro?
But that does not matter. And the left never...
These are things Ben has said that I'm saying in an extremely monotone voice, and so that you guys get across that this is not my opinion.
Acknowledges its own hypocrisy on this score. Ilhan Omar had just the best set of tweets on this. So Ilhan Omar tweeted...
Ilhan Omar is a queen? How dare you?
Tweeted out 2 things, right? So, a week ago...
Ilhan Omar and AOC and the rest of the Justice Dems are fucking amazing, and I'm already offended.
After the Atlanta shooting, Ilhan Omar tweeted out, "It isn't hard to understand why it's so normalized."
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But guys, who do you think this is? I'm sorry, that's a white boy. I'm sorry. That's a white boy. Actually, hold on. Let's look up this. Let's look up this shooting, because I hate to be uninformed. All right? You're gonna have to leave at 3. Well, I'm also gonna have to leave at 3 because I'm tired. Here's the suspect. Now, guys, I'm not gonna say that this person isn't Arabic, but, does this person look white to you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
For law enforcement to protect the humanity of white mass murderers and their willingness to continually make excuses for them. And then, like, a week later, Ilhan Omar tweeted out, the shooter's race or ethnicity seems front and center when they aren't white. Otherwise, it's just a mentally ill young man having a bad day. Narratives drive our responses to awful crimes committed against innocent people. Pay attention to these responses and who is targeted. Literally a week ago, she was targeting, you know,
He misses the point entirely. I'm sorry, but Ben, you're too stupid. I can't deal with it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't deal with Ben Shapiro right now. He is so dumb. Ben, you fucking idiot. You don't understand the difference between race and ethnicity. Ben. Alright, and also, I want to set the record straight on something. Now, okay, I want to say, a couple streams ago, I did say something about possibly Detroit defunding the police. It wasn't Detroit. I was wrong. It was another city that started with a D. I'm sorry, my brain just associates them. Right here. Here we are. Okay? 6-month experiment replacing Denver police with mental health teams dubbed a success. So this is defunding the police, mind you. And this is NPR, which, as we all know, is definitely cucked, and it is liberal and can't be trusted, according to MTG. So it's absolutely fine if we trust it. Right? A Denver City Council member who supports defunding the police weighs in on the new success of, replacing cops with mental health teams. 6 months in, the teams have responded to almost 750 calls without one arrest. We could talk about this, but can we just revel in the fact that everyone just like feel the correctness of your position just like washing over you for a second there. Because, oh boy, this is good. They sent them to hundreds of different calls, and it worked because it kept down arrests and it kept people from getting killed. So good job, Denver. This is amazing. Right. No, I don't care about that. No. Fine. I'll allow ads. Jeez, go away. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. But just know here that Colorado used mental health professionals to respond, and it worked. Anyways, that's all I have for everybody today. Please subscribe, leave a like down below, comment, or whatever, and thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Okay? Bye, everybody.